love them. Kelly and Marshall from Camp Addict going to tell us some tips about boondocking.
Thank you, JP. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and especially for staying after Kyle and Olivia's wonderful, similar presentation on free camping. Yeah, so I was really happy to see all the chairs stay. I thought everybody was going to pick them up and just take off. So this is great, and it's also, I must say, it's kind of funny to be talking to a group about boondocking who are all boondocking. Yes. Anyway, as you said, I'm Kelly, and
I am Marshall.
And yeah, I'm going to take a hint from Kyle and Olivia, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about us, just so you kind of know the history of what happened. We met 2 years ago, pretty much at the Xscapers Convergence. Everybody dispersed, we kept in touch, and then we got back together, and we just started caravanning together. It just happened. We never actually talked about it. We just did it, and found that we kind of made a good team that way. So we were exclusive boondockers. We both have a travel trailer, and we just started to do that. And he really showed me a lot of the ropes on how to boondock. And so it's been, what? It's been 2 years now. So yeah, so it's been 2 years, and we exclusively boondock. We kind of detest campgrounds, and yeah, we've learned a lot along the way.
We sure have.
Yeah, and then of course we both were really frustrated with our jobs, and we just decided, we talked about it, and he was talking about creating a website. And again, we made a good team. Since we made a very good team, we thought we would make a good team creating a website together. We just both had the right skills to complement each other. So we ended up creating campaddict.com, and it is a review and guide site. So we were frustrated about not being able to go to one source to find all the information you needed about any given product or thing that you would have to use. It's like you would do a Google search and you'd find a great blogger's review, or just little tidbits here and there, but it wasn't all in one place. So we thought, we're going to fill that void, and Camp Addict was created. So we're excited to be here. Thank you all again for coming, and let's dive right in. After I reopen my iPad. And now it just went away. How do I get it back? See, he's the technical guy. Thank you, Marshall. Panic attack. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so how many of you have boondocked way out, not just Quartzsite, but at other places? I mean, raise your hand if you've done this before.
Wow, that's an impressive number.
And you're here because...
Yeah, why are you here?
Okay, well, good. All right. Okay, well, I think a lot of people fear boondocking. They fear doing it because it's scary. I mean, it was scary for me. Quartzsite was my first boondocking experience, and I ended up parking in a LTVA area without even knowing it. And then they told me, and so I just decided to go ahead and not move and just pay for the pass. And again, I was about 20 feet away from the line, but so I went ahead and I did that. But from there, we followed him and branched out into bigger, badder areas. I think Quartzsite's a lot different than going out and finding a place on your own, and that can be very intimidating. So, biggest thing, people are just scared to do it. Safety, is it safe out there? I didn't think it was really at first. Single girl, all out by myself. Am I going to be attacked by animals or killed by a person? And it's a legitimate beginner fear. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's really not going to happen. You're safer way out there than you are anywhere near a city, because way out there, it's mostly... Oh, yeah, sorry, wait.
I didn't know my cue.
I forgot.
You spent all this time and you forgot.
No. I had a keynote presentation all set up, but in the desert, apparently, you just can't use a TV set on the outside. It just wasn't going to work. So I had that, and then I had these. So this is Vanna White, everybody. He's going to, just come on, Brandon. You got to show the people. So these are the things people are typically very scared of. The boogeyman, animals, bears, maybe getting towed, or criminals coming and getting your stuff. Once again, the people who are out there are people doing pretty much what you're doing. Criminals like low-lying fruit. There's not a lot of low-lying fruit way out in the middle of nowhere, and if it is, it's a random RV, and it is probably full of clothes and food. You know, so it's not real attractive. It's not very appealing. So honest to God, nobody is out there to get your stuff to kill you. They're out there recreating like you are.
And criminals are lazy, so they don't go out into the middle of nowhere to rob something. So you're
Exactly.
safe.
Okay, well, where, you know, maybe there are places it's not so safe. And where are those places? Doing a great job, Vanna. I'd say the least...
Thank you, Vanna.
I'd say the least safe areas are going to be places that are kind of closer to cities because there's a lot of people there. So maybe if you're boondocking outside of Las Vegas or something, there could be some people who are there looking to get into trouble. And just like Kyle and Olivia have already said, you just use your head, just use your intuition. I've never left a place because I felt unsafe. Have you ever left a place because you didn't feel safe?
Not a boondocking spot. I have left a campground that I didn't like the vibe of, but never a boondocking spot.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, as a single female, I've been out there all by myself with, you know, not a rig, not a light in sight, and it was the boogeyman that I was scared of my very first night. And I kind of got over it. I had to take the dogs out. I was like, crap, you guys better go fast. And I got back in, and animals, wild animals. Oh, they're gonna get me out there. No. Once again, if you're around a city, maybe, because animals are much more, they're used to humans, and you'll see coyotes running around in the suburbs and whatnot. I've never seen a coyote out boondocking. Have you ever seen one? I've seen them on the road driving. Have you? Really? No, I've never seen one.
No, I'm with you.
It's like I hear them.
City, not
I hear them.
boondocking.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them in the cities, but you hear them when you're out boondocking, but I've never had one walk through my campsite. But Gary has.
Never seen a wolf. I've seen a bear on a hike. Again, the animals they're not used to humans out there, so they're not coming after you. So the animals, that's another fear factor that you just don't have to worry about. Leaving things out. Do you leave your generator out? Do you leave your solar out? Sometimes I do. It
just depends on the vibe of the area again. You can, lock up your solar panel if you want, put your generator away if you're going to be gone for a while, or you can just leave it out.
Yeah, and again, I go by feel when I'm in a place, and sometimes I just get a little lazy about it, but I haven't locked up my solar panels or my generator in a while, very long while. So, but yeah, if I was, somewhere close in or near a campground, then I probably would, because there's more people there, and it's just it could happen. So
Good catch,
see.
Vanna.
Okay.
That's why I get paid the medium bucks.
The one thing you do have to worry about would be the tow truck. You can get stuck. I have gotten stuck one time.
I was the tow truck.
Yeah. Luckily, this one, we were caravanning, and his two-wheel drive pulled my two-wheel drive and my rig out, and it was a simple little crevice. It was a crevice about this deep, and I got lazy on the way out. This was at Marble Canyon, Arizona, and I just didn't position my tires right as I crossed over it, and then I heard this dunk, and the truck just stopped, and I knew it was not good. Threw it in reverse and prayed, and it didn't budge. So my axle, the trailer axle, was actually sitting on the dirt, and I wasn't going anywhere. So make sure before you do go out there, you at least have some kind of roadside assistance. But
the thing with the roadside assistance, of course, is that they always have a gotcha clause, and they're going to have limitations to how far off of an established road that they will go tow you off of. So, make sure that you're aware of that before you go get yourself stuck, or travel with someone that's there to yank you out.
so just real quick, and thank you, Vanna. You can set that one down, and we will move on to the next one in a moment. But I want to ask if anybody has any questions on that kind of subject matter before we move on. Yes?
Not a question per se, but I may or may not have been in that situation where I got stuck.
Yes.
Did not have someone to tow us out, but did have rubber floor mats that you stick under the wheel, and that actually was a lifesaver. So, note to self, free yard
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
she said she got stuck and then she used her rubber floor mats to get herself out, and it actually worked. So that's a little lifesaver right there.
And-
Yes?
This summer, we had a situation where the leaf spring broke on the RV.
Ugh.
Stuck by the side of the road, 60 miles away from anything. And luckily I had cell service, and I ended up calling the police, and they came out, helped us, and that was nasty.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, always call the cops.
Yeah, right.
Hope they help.
I wanted to add to the rubber floor mat. You know, it's always a good idea to have a shovel, maybe some wood, so that you can sort of, you know, dig yourself out of a area or put something under the tires to help.
For sure. And Brandon, you guys have, what is that called?
We carry, it's Max Trax knockoff, but it's big plastic tracks with treads on them that you can dig out under your wheels and jam them under there. We use them for off-roading, but you know, they'll carry a motorhome if you need to.
Yeah, that could be helpful too.
I can whip them out sometime and sit them outside so you can see what they look like.
Thank you, Vanna.
Okay, we're ready for our next, Vanna?
Less talking, more Vanna-ing.
Do you need to scout the road?
Yes, most likely, maybe, kind of, sorta.
Go show. I have the dead end possibility, the quicksand you might run
Because that's
into,
very realistic.
and the coming off of the edge of the cliff here. That's Travis and Melanie's rig.
Getting
He
stuck
told
in
me to say
Sedona.
that because they got stuck. So I don't know. I don't know the story.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but honestly, and I've mostly caravanned with him, we haven't needed to scout because either he's been there before or Campendium has enough reviews where you just know you're fine. Or what's
I'm-
happening? What's happening?
Vanna,
Panic! Gosh!
you know, we're gonna have to renegotiate your contract.
You know, Xscapers said there wouldn't be wind here.
Or I've known someone that was there, so I've got some, you know, knowledge of the area, and they tell me how to come in. There's only been a couple of times that we've actually unhitched and gone exploring. But if you are unfamiliar with the area, do it, because you could find yourself in a situation where your rig won't go down that road, or there's nowhere to turn around, or
That makes me want to have hives.
Yeah.
Like
Or-
dead end street. Oh,
or the one available spot is taken and there's no way to turn around because they're there. So scouting is always a great idea if you have no idea what is down that road.
yeah, it's highly recommended. Not always done, but again, it's only circumstantial that way. Where are we? Dead end. Do you need four-wheel drive? Say you're pulling a trailer. Well, I need four-wheel drive. I am out there all the time. He needs four-wheel drive. Neither one of us have it, but we certainly wish we did.
Wish, yes.
Between the two of you, you have it.
Right, right?
This is true.
That's how we get out of trouble, right?
Yeah, I would highly recommend four-wheel drive if you're towing. Just do it.
Yeah, no, I've been in a situation before where I've been in a campsite and I wanted to, or you know, a boondocking site, and I've wanted to reposition a little bit and I couldn't because it was raining and the wheels were just doing this. So I just said, good enough, it'll dry out. And sure enough, when it was dry, I could get out, but yeah, I could have used four-wheel drive there.
Which is kind of leading to the next little bullet point I have here for, you know, you got to watch out for if it's rained recently, being able to get in or out of a place. And that's perfect example. Pulled in, stopped, thought he was going to reposition and he couldn't. It was grassy and it was just that kind of clayish stuff and he couldn't move up anymore. So we try not to travel around rain. So you watch the weather and just make sure it's fairly dry, or you could run into some problems. And then as far as scouting goes, you also, if you're trying to go somewhere where you're not real sure about the place, you could also go to Google Satellite and check out the road and just, because you might find a place that has camping, it's legal, but that doesn't mean there's any spots down that road. So you could waste your time and drive the whole road. We've scouted roads like that before, and find nothing with your rig. No, actually, I just totally lost my train of thought. Anyway,
But the
You-
one catch with Google Satellite is you can't actually see what the road condition is. So you can see that there's spots there,
Yeah.
potential spots, but you're still going to want to scout it.
yeah, so it's nice. You can just look at the Google satellite and you can at least see spots if they're there, and you might see RVs that were previously there, and so that's just another kind of way to check that out. Any questions on scouting?
You're talking about Google Earth, right?
Google
Same
Earth
kind of
or
thing,
Google
yes.
Satellite View, same thing. It's the same.
Yeah, if you go to Google Maps and then just choose the satellite view, you can do it that way too. But yeah, they're really kind of the same thing, aren't they?
I don't know.
Any
Don't ask
questions
me.
on scouting?
I got response for you, but I think I read a trailer map, or I might have read it in Escaping, that an ideal way is to use a drone, full roadside of the road. Drone out.
Yeah, using a drone would be very cool. I mean, I don't
If I
have a
had
drone.
one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever used a drone, Brandon?
I have a drone. I haven't used it because most drones are like 3/4 mile range, and most of the time I want to be more than 3/4 miles away. And so, yeah, I mean, we have a motorhome, so we just take our car off and go scout. But with, you trailer folk, I don't know how you do it.
You always have to be wearing some light restrictions too with the
Yeah.
drone, so it's not always too easy to get the drone in the air.
Right, right.
Yep.
So I understood that if all else fails, you just have your best friend go first. Marshall, that's why you always have Kelly go first, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
I was going to ask you, you may cover this later, but how much time do you actually spend on BLM versus Walmart versus other
Ooh, I would.
kind of?
We broke his Walmart cherry this year. He had never done Walmart.
Yeah, I don't like Walmart. So, no, we're 99.9% on public land. I don't sleep at Walmart. I mean, I actually can't sleep. It's just too noisy for me. It doesn't work for me.
All good? Oh, yes?
On the mapping systems that are available now between Google and Siri and what's the one we have?
Ways, whatever.
Waze or the Garmin's. They even have the Garmin friendly for RVs with height restrictions. Do you have a preference?
I exclusively use Google Maps. Someone who will remain nameless used Apple Maps at our last location, and that
I
didn't
just
end
had-
too well.
I don't.
That story.
Oh, do not recommend Apple Maps. It's just constantly wrong. I don't understand how it's so wrong. And it's
Yeah.
Apple, I know, and it's been that way for years, and they haven't fixed it. What?
So yeah, Google Maps is what I use mainly.
Yeah, that's what we use.
Yeah, so on Google Maps, what we do is we every location where we stay overnight, we point it on the
Yep.
map.
Yep.
Okay, so we got like a whole trail, so we know that if we're in the area, like, oh yeah, we're there, because in
Yep.
the whole
Yeah,
lot of things, you tend to forget where you've been.
Yeah, exactly.
He
yeah.
says he puts a pin down on every location he stays at, and I do exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I mark it, and I put like
little
the
note.
height,
Yeah.
I put the date, and I put, the elevation.
Yeah.
How tall am I today? And whatever I want to know about that spot. So yeah, I really like that idea too. Scouting, going once, going twice.
Vanna,
You
next
lost
please.
your chance. Okay. All right. Okay, and this is something Kyle and Olivia went over as well. Please, Vanna. How do you find your spots? So, I know most of you were here before. We're not going to go very deep into this, but our primary one is Campendium, but you can also use freecampsites.net. You can go to Allstays app if you have Apple. And the Avenza maps, that's something that's a lot more advanced. And half of you have already been doing this, so maybe we could talk a tad about that, or at
Yes.
least send them to the video.
So with Avenza Maps, you can download free maps for Forest Service.
So
and
complicated, though.
They even have a map here.
We made a video on Camp Addict.
Yeah, it's a little
I have to
difficult.
watch the
and it's-
video. I can't do it otherwise.
So you load the motor vehicle use map for the area, and then each motor vehicle use map is different and it reads different, and but that's how you find out where you can legally camp in the national forest, is using a motor vehicle use map, and the easiest way to do that is get it on the
The
Avenza
bottom one.
map.
There you go.
Brandon exclusively uses Campendium because
Yeah, we
he's
use this as well.
Oh, do
Do
you?
you?
This is so much better.
Look at
Well,
you.
of course it's better.
Because
But
I
the
left reviews there, and you can trust me.
Don't.
But to find the places that aren't on Campendium, you've got to do some legwork and use Avenza.
Yeah, Campendium's great. We all love Campendium.
That's
Already went over like Google Earth and whatnot, but ranger stations, that's another way you can go and talk to a ranger in the district area that you're in.
And the key to that is don't ask them where to boondock because they don't understand boondocking. It's dispersed camping. So go in there and say, where can I disperse camp in your area? And then they will, normally they'll have pointers. I mean, you can even call them up, and if you get a guy that knows the area, then he'll be chatting. Here's my favorite spot, blah, blah, blah. So dispersed camping.
Thank you, Vanna. Any questions on that? I mean, again, this was already covered. I think we're all pretty good on that one. Okay, thank you, Vanna. Everybody give Vanna, Brandon, a hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon.
Okay, next up we're going to talk about utility conservation, because this is something else that might stop people from going out and boondocking. It's like, well, how am I going to have enough water? How am I going to not be able to dump? I'm going to have to move every 3 days. Well, there's definitely ways to extend your stay. So water conservation, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of obvious, you know. I mean, first of all, don't waste the water. You know, I use just drips of water sometimes.
You're not
literally.
in a house. You do not open the faucet all the way.
Oh yeah, I mean that, but isn't that obvious? I mean, I hope that's obvious. But then the other things, probably your RV comes with a slow shower head with the low water per gallon per minute.
Yeah, low flow.
And if it doesn't, well, get one. Put that in. But the funny thing about those, this is a quick little offshoot here, because those things really bother me, because I got an Oxygenics. It was one of my first things I got to upgrade my RV. And I'd turn the water on, and then they got that little button, and you push the button, the dang thing still drips. It would continuously drip, and then it would get cold. So now, I've got water wasting, and it's cold, and then when I turn it back on, it would come out cold, and then I'd have to wait for it to get to hot, so that would also waste water. Well, you can actually add another flow stopper
An
valve.
actual on-off switch, if you will, that cuts the water totally.
And we've done it. We've both installed one in each of our showers, and it's fine. It totally works. It stops the flow, and it stops the water from going from hot to cold. So if you've been dealing with that, once again, we have it on our shower head page on Camp Addict, how to do that. We have a, to show how ours work, and that you could do the same thing. It's not a huge water waster, but it kind of is.
It's more of a water annoyance than anything.
Total annoyance. The cold part, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. Here we are. How did that move? I don't know. Okay, now, the other thing is you might have to change your what's the word? Your hygienic habits. I used to shower every day, but I also lived in the Southeast. In the Southeast, it's hot and humid, and you sweat. Well, being out west and being in, Northwest, you're not. What? Just saying. But you're not sweating, and you can do the with the rag, and you just don't have to shower every day. That's good. It's on video. So literally, I probably shower once every 4 or 5 days. Yeah. 7's like my max, but I mean, trust me.
Of course, we are traveling alone, so there's that issue.
Yeah, really no need to shower. So yeah, I've what? Come on, fess it up. Fess.
Do I need to bring this over?
We'll talk to you later. So again, the hair starts to get greasy, but it's fine. I don't stink. If I have ever stunk, and I know some of you here, you need to talk to me after this. Let me know or raise your hand.
Yeah, right.
They're not what?
They're not showering either.
Yeah, that's No, honest, you don't stink. But I know everybody has a different hygiene level. So again, you don't have to shower that often, especially if you're staying out west. So, stop the water wasting.
Just
madness.
be smart about water. I mean, it's a limited resource. You may or may not have the ability to go get more. If you do, great. But if you don't, you have what you have, so be smart about it.
But you can have the ability to go get more, unless you don't have a toad.
One thing that I figured out, because we've only been now doing boondocking for 2 weeks, but we, from 0 to that.
Yeah.
I am able to handle washing my hair with just cold water. So, so I can just do like rinse, lather, turn it off, rinse it off, and then we're good. And then that makes life much better. So then you can get a little longer with just the baby wipes.
So I think you're saying you just use cold water to wash your hair?
Just wash and I don't put my body in the shower.
Just
But how does that save? Oh, I see. You just do your hair. Got it.
And
Okay.
body.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. You can use your wipes for your body, and then wash your hair over the sink or something instead of getting in the shower. But of course, please, I hope we're all turning the water off, like we talked about, in between rinses. But yeah,
Right.
that's a great way to save some water too. And we'll get to some more questions in just a second. I want to go over just a few more things here. If you have a toad, or if you pull a trailer and you don't have a very big water tank, or you run out of water, you can always, what we do. And the first time I saw him pull out all his water bags, I was like, are you thirsty much? What is going on? I didn't understand, because I can go a long time on my little 20-gallon tank. I can go 2 weeks. He has these 5-gallon collapsible water bags, and he comes and he undumps them, puts them out in front of his rig, and I thought he was crazy. I'm like, what is that?
She calls me a water waster.
He is. So anyway, you can refill by getting the portable bags, or such as Dan and Lisa on Always on Liberty. They just got the big water bladder for the back of their truck, and I know a lot of people do this. You take it, you go fill the little bladder up, bring it back, get a water pump. You might be able to use the pump that you have in your rig. You might have to get a separate pump, or you might want to get a separate pump. And anyway, you can keep refilling yourself that way, so you don't have to move. Which leads me to the next problem. Your black tank, right? How do you do the black tank, especially if you're more than one person? You're going all the time. Well, number one, you could do a composting toilet potentially, or use a bucket method, which I am actually going to possibly be trying pretty soon.
This will be interesting.
But anyway, guys, you're out there in the middle of nowhere. You guys go outside. Go water a tree, as he is always saying. So that's going to conserve. But to me, the number one way to conserve space in your black tank is don't put your toilet paper in there. Sounds gross. Ew, what do you mean? What am I going to do with my toilet paper? Well, I just have a garbage bag. It's lined with I have trash. It's lined with a grocery bag, and I wipe, and then I put it down. I put it in the bag, and it's face down. You don't see it. You don't see it.
I have a big black tank. I don't do that.
And he pees outside, so that's saving a lot of room. But the other benefit of not putting the toilet paper down is you're not going to clog. You can buy any toilet paper brand you want, and you just go wild, whatever you want, and you just don't have to worry about it. You can use as much as you want, yeah. So that's my one of my favorite tips is that I don't put any toilet paper down there. And then of course there's the portable waste tanks. You can get a Blue Boy or whatever their name brand is. Dump your tank into that and then tote it off. But the issue there is you have to be kind of close to a dump, or you have to be able to lift it up into your tow vehicle to take it away. I don't want to do any of that, and again, it's just me, so it's easy. I can go 2 weeks, no problem.
I can go a month.
I don't mean I don't go to the bathroom for 2 weeks. Okay, so anything to add, Marshall, on that one?
No. Brilliant.
Okay. The whole subject matter. Okay, so questions on, utility conservation. Anything? Yes, ma'am?
So what I do for the cold water till it turns to hot is I keep a bowl in the shower, and so I just fill up that bowl until it gets hot, and then I use that water to flush my toilet.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah, capture the cold water in another container and then reuse the cold water to flush
For
it
anything
to
you want. Yeah,
whatever.
that's a great tip. Yeah. I'm so conservative, I just don't have to do that. It's crazy, but yeah, a lot of people do that. Great idea. Yes, sir?
So with the peeing outside, go along that line of thinking there, have you ever run into a problem where you had like too much solid to water ratio?
No, okay. No,
Too
no.
much salad to water ratio?
No, solid. No, like
Oh.
he's saying because
I was confused
water
by that one.
trees, I'm not having as much liquid go into the black tank.
Yeah.
And is that an issue with the black tank being more solid than it should?
And he does put his toilet paper down.
And I put the toilet paper down there too. No, I've never had that issue, but I'm conscious about that. I make sure that there's plenty of water in there, a couple of gallons in there before I start using it. And I use plenty of water when I'm flushing because, yeah, I don't want that to happen. And I've got a black tank flush. So when I do dump my tanks, I flush the black tank. So, yeah, I haven't had a problem yet.
That was a great question. Great follow-up question. Yes, ma'am?
Any tips on conserving water while doing dishes or?
Well,
I am not the person to ask.
She doesn't do dishes.
I don't cook much, so I'm not using a lot of.
I wash.
I eat ingredients.
I literally just you have a trickle of.
It works.
For her. So the question is, washing dishes, how to conserve water there, and I just literally just have just a trickle of water, and I use that. You gotta use water to do dishes, but I just use very, very little.
Maybe you could do this method over here by capturing the cold water in a tub and then maybe use that. I've heard someone say that they line. What?
You had the answer right there.
What?
No, that's what we do.
Oh.
We have 2 wash basins that fit in both sides of our sink. So soapy water, rinse water. We don't really let the water run. And then you just chuck it out.
Well, they're fancy like that with the sink that has 2.
And I wanted to add to that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Do you have dogs?
That's her dish.
They help quite a bit. And then, no, the other thing I was going to add, I heard somebody saying that they take a saran wrap and kind of line their bowls, and then when you are done, take the saran wrap out and it's clean. You don't have to wash it. So there's some water conservation.
We take our napkins that we're using to eat with, and we wipe the plate off so
Yeah.
it's relatively clean. And then you can use a vinegar spray.
Yep.
And just use that. Use no water. Just spray with vinegar. Wipe it off, and you're done.
That is
I like that.
serious water conservation. Using a vinegar spray.
Well,
vinegar
wiping
water
it,
spray.
wipe the dishes down with your napkin, whatever you used, and then I guess you can use vinegar spray.
Vinegar water mixture.
Vinegar water.
I like that. That's a good one.
Doesn't anybody use paper plates?
Yes, I use paper plates too. Yes. It's another good one. Okay, I saw another hand somewhere.
Any
I'm
other
hallucinating.
questions? Well,
I hallucinated that.
oh, there's a question.
Yes.
If you're using, for dishes, you like to use hot water.
Yep.
Rather than letting your hot water
I don't.
run, put your
I
pan-
do.
Put your pan of cold water on the stove and heat up the cold water to make it hot water.
Man, that's a lot of effort. my water heater isn't that far away from my sink, so that doesn't.
Some have that.
Yeah, some have that luxury. Question over here. Yep.
Use a spray bottle with water and just a little bit of dish soap, and use that to wet down the plates. That's a very good one.
Have you ever heard of the hot water bypass?
Yes, but you'd know more about it.
The hot water bypass.
Oh wait, you mean instant hot water?
No, you have to have access to your plumbing lines, of course.
Mhm.
You run new lines and have a switch that bypasses your hot water back into your freshwater tank until it gets hot.
That's fancy. So.
You want to repeat
Yeah,
what you said so they can
you
hear?
can plumb your water system, the hot water line, to turn a valve, and then while the hot water is going from the water heater to the faucet, it's actually going back into the freshwater tank until the hot water gets there, and you turn the valve, and then it comes out the faucet. But yeah, you'd have to plumb that in.
I skipped a whole section on utility conservation. So I'm going to continue on that for now. Who's on the next page? Generator and solar. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
Power.
that's not really utility conservation. I don't know why I put that in that category. Okay, how about this? How much stocking up do you really have to do? When I first was envisioning what I was going to be doing and where I would be going, I thought, man, I'm going to be out west and it's going to be the middle of nowhere. and I'm gonna have to stock up like it's Armageddon. I mean, I'm gonna have to have my refrigerator packed out, and it's just not quite like that. No matter where we've been pretty close to a town, at least maybe a 30-minute drive or so, and there's going to be a grocery store, probably a convenience store. You can get your propane, gas, water. So just in case you were wondering, how is it going to be? What's the most remote place you think we've been? And
in
Idaho. Yes.
Spencer, Idaho, I think. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it was
an hour.
It was an hour to Twin Falls to go to a real grocery store, and that's the most remote we've ever been. But normally, yeah, within 30 minutes.
But we find that no matter whether we need to go into town or not, a lot of times we do anyway. You just want to check it out. Or maybe you want to be around society, just see some
little
people, you know?
civilization,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stop staring at that mug all the time. I mean, yes?
I would definitely recommend anybody going to Utah does want to stock up on wine.
Liquor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your liquor before you go to Utah. That is
And
very much so. It's very
but
expensive
I
there
would-
and hard to find.
No, it isn't expensive.
Isn't it? I thought it was.
Oh yeah.
If you're a Scotch drinker, it's really
Oh, cheap scotch in Utah.
because they have state control.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a pain to have to find a place because it is state controlled.
And they've got
ugh.
lightweight beer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Well,
too.
there in
Like
Colorado, there's several
silly.
states that have it.
Okay. But anyway, why does that keep moving?
Technology.
No. So yeah, you're not really probably going to be in the middle of nowhere. Don't feel like you have to be crazy, but refill. Okay, so that was pretty much it. Solar. Vanna White is going to be doing a presentation on that on Tuesday. So if you really want to know more about, because that's a big topic, we're not going to get into that here. It's a way bigger than me, and I'm confused by it. But anyway.
I'm big enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go see Brandon on Tuesday about that. Or any quick questions about generator solar, any of that? Or comments? Okay.
Do you have your hand up? Oh, okay.
Okay. Unwritten boondocking rules. Yeah. This is stuff you might not know, might not see, but you really need to know. Topping the list. Hopefully most have heard of this or know about this, but if you're out there in the middle of nowhere boondocking, you're probably doing it for peace and quiet. Try not to bring a contractor generator out into there and doing that. Yeah, they're really loud. They're annoying. Your neighbors are not going to be happy, and you probably won't either if you have to have that thing right next to you the whole time. But people do. But the thing is, there are affordable generators now that are inverter generators, like the Wen. Marshall even got one of those, and it's what, 400?
Well, yeah, it bounces around between 425 and 475 on Amazon, but it's a 2,000 watt inverter generator, and it works really well.
And the inverter generators are also better for your electronics, right? The way we use them, or does it really matter?
Yeah, cleaner.
Doesn't matter because it goes through. It's cleaner
Cleaner
power.
power.
Whatever. Okay. Well, there's that.
You can always take out your hearing aids.
Look at this dog. Look at that. It's precious. He just got his little head over his shoulder over the back of the chair. That is precious. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm dying. So cute. What'd you say?
He said you
Totally.
can always take out your hearing aid.
Yes, you can do that as well. This is a pet peeve of mine, and I don't hear it much unless we're in a place like this, but door slamming in the morning. Before, it was 6 o'clock. These doors, they're very loud. I think a lot of people hear that, and I think that's kind of another one of those nice things. If you can try to just kind of shut your door, that's your neighbors are just going to be a little happier about it.
Assuming you have any.
Yeah, a lot of times we don't. But if you do, parking next to somebody.
This is my pet peeve.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable if you're in a place where it's a straight and narrow road. There's only a few spots. They're all taken. So.
Wow, Vanna, really? When is your presentation again?
I have no words.
Anyways, parking. Do not park on top of people that are already there unless you absolutely have to, because the people that are there are out there because they want to be away from other people. And
Most of them, anyway.
Most of them. And it seems to, like, rigs already there are like magnets to newcomers, and for some reason
It's
they like to
weird.
park right on top of them. And 90% of the time, that's not okay with the person already there.
Yeah, you want to be kind of on your own, but yes, there are circumstances when it's, or you can ask the person.
Yeah.
Go ask them, and they might say no. They might say no. Can you please? There's hundreds of miles right here. Can you go over there? But it's really weird. I think maybe it's a safety thing, maybe a security thing for some people. They feel like, oh, I want to be, nearby. But man, it's like you just destroyed my view, and now you've got a generator going, and your dogs are barking, and your door is slamming.
Other than that, it's okay.
Yeah. So parking, how close? Okay, all right, guys. With the male dogs who let the dogs run free in an area like this, I've had someone's dog come over and pee right on my stuff, and they're not watching. It's just, that's not cool. Even if it's your tire, nobody wants a dog peeing right there on their tire. So I guess it's more of a male dog thing than it is a girl dog thing, because most of the girls squat.
Why are you looking at me when you say male dog?
But just try to be considerate that way. I let my dogs run around. They're not really supposed to, but pretty much most of us do. But yeah, the male dog thing, just kind of watch out for that. Watch out.
I'm sorry.
4 trees. Marshall gets the trees all the time. And last but not least, why does it keep moving? I keep saying that, I know. And then last, this is just, places that are really dusty, like Moab, and you're passing by other rigs, try to slow down, because, you kick up all that dust, and it's just dusty enough as it is. We don't need help. So, yeah, just try to slow it down a little bit as you go by them. Comments, because I don't think there's questions here. This is dangerous. Let's go for some comments.
There's so many people around the courtside, I can't even envision what it's like out there. Are you ever alone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the question is, are
No
you
one
ever
else in
alone?
sight. Yes.
Yes. Then that's the way I like it. Yes, there's plenty of places that you can go. This is abnormal. This is not true
We don't
boondocking
do
in the
this.
sense of getting out in nature.
This is
Right.
Yeah, it's exploding.
And it's a time of year where everybody congregates to the southwest. But no, there's plenty of places that I've been the only person for miles and miles and miles. Yeah, so it's fairly easy to do. Yeah, it's great.
Did you have a comment?
When I drove to Alaska, there'd be 50 acres to park in, and I'd park there. I'm the only vehicle there.
Here we go.
Somebody comes off the Alcan Highway, and where do they park? Right next to you. And I believe it's the city folks that do it. They can't stand to be by themselves.
Lisa?
It's the city folk that can't stand to be by themselves, if you didn't hear that. So,
Another thing with boondocking, you gotta scope out the area, because if someone is already there, kind of use common sense. They may have positioned their rig that they're looking at the mountains. Don't park in front of them. Try to see how they see it.
Yep.
In other words, don't ruin the view.
Yeah, don't
that's
ruin
what I was
the
saying.
view.
Don't block my view. You just ruined my view you pulled up. I mean, there's times when it's understandable, yeah, but generally, I think most people do not want someone parking right next to them in the middle of nowhere. Other comments, other questions? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, people leaving their dog poo around.
Yeah, pick up after
that
your pet.
dog poo. And I hope I don't have to say it to anyone here, but of course trash. I mean, but there are places where you go and there's litter everywhere.
They've been trashed.
It's really sad. It's disappointing. This human race. Come on, people.
Oh,
yes,
no, skip her.
Okay.
Good question, I promise.
Yes.
No, sure.
We have a van.
You
We don't have
do?
a trailer. We don't have a tow car. And oftentimes we'll find a great boondocking spot, but we need to leave.
Yes.
And we're always hesitant. Do we leave our camping chairs? Will they still be there when we go back? Do you have any recommendation on how to save a really good spot if you only have one vehicle?
Get another vehicle. So the question is, they're van dwellers
Right
and
next to 'em.
they don't have a toad. So they, when they go out to explore, how to save your campsite, your premium view. Well, if you have a premium view, you're not going to save it. So, yeah, I don't. What's that?
I've seen someone do that before.
Yeah. Yeah, spot taken.
I've never reserved a spot. What
Well,
are
we
you
don't
gonna?
have to.
I know, but what are you gonna say?
Well, I mean,
to
yeah,
do?
you have to make it obvious that someone's already there. Pretty please do not take my spot.
Maybe that's what the dog poop is.
Yeah, or big pile of dog poop.
Marked their territory. Yeah, that's what I've seen before. I just saw someone who had a cardboard box, and I was kind of like, well, whatever. I guess I won't go park
I
there.
think
but-
Vanna has a
I
suggestion.
don't know. Yes.
We met a couple in Moab where we're probably dusting you on the trail.
Probably.
But they had like a little $5 Dick's camping chair, throwaway chair, and they put a dry erase board out there. And they said, "Gone to get water, be back in a minute."
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
That works.
It's a
Yeah.
great suggestion. Great.
We have a question over.
Oh, sorry.
With the same
Welcome.
spot, we were just over by Joshua Tree South, and there was a pop-up tent. Now it's more expensive than a chair, but there's a pop-up tent in the spot.
Yep.
We never actually saw a person there in the whole 8 days we were there.
Same thing.
We were thinking,
Yeah, that's a good.
either they sleep a whole lot, or there's nobody really
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that is another good trick. Just get a cheap tent and put it up there to save your spot.
Yeah, 'cause that one,
Someone was over. Okay, yes?
When we refill water or boondocking, we have to have a pressurized source that can't just be poured in.
Yeah.
We always carry a power drill with us, and Home Depot is a $15 transfer pump. They hook 2 hose ends to. You use your drill as a power source, and that will fill your water.
Yeah, get a drill powered transfer pump, and you can use that if you've got to have pressurized water and don't have just a gravity fill port for fresh water. Gary.
You're driving back to your campsite after your night at Chili Owls or wherever the hell you're going. Don't drive in with your high beams on. Put your fog light. Your vehicle has fog lights in the front of it.
Maybe.
Drive down to the campsite with your fog lights on, or campsite with your fog lights on versus your headlights on. That way you're not blinding your neighbors, and you can still see kind of to where you're going.
Yeah, that's another good tip.
I know.
Coming in at night, try not to come in with your high beams on. Use your fog lights or your regular lights. Yeah, you gotta have something on, but you don't have to have your brights on. Probably. Did somebody hear?
I've got a question over here on the right.
Okay, yes.
Midnight? Midnight? No.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
We don't have to really, we're so out there, we literally don't.
Yeah,
but yeah, what's the time?
But
for
yeah,
if you are
if
in a
you're,
place
if
like
you're in a more
this?
congested area, just be courteous of your neighbors in all aspects of sound. Yeah, generator, I don't know, what, 10 to 6 quiet time or something? 10 to 8? 10 to 10? I don't know.
And if you're out as far as we are, you can also just kind of maybe keep it, watch when your neighbors are there and when they're not. Try to run your generator if you can when they're not there. Just if you're doing it just to charge your batteries up.
Not at 3 a.m.
Yeah, don't do it
No,
at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. No.
Any other questions?
All right, I think that wraps it
That
up.
wraps it up.
Yeah.
Oh.
We hope you got a few good tips, you know.
Park their truck over here by 9 a.m. and we'll take a load of trash until it fills
Please
up.
tell me
Just
it
bring
was
your
recording.
bag.